Okay, so let's rock and roll. Are you ready? I'm ready. We're
I'm
going to talk
ready.
about virtual assistants. We're going to talk about ways to drive listings, which is huge. So one thing that people always ask is like, so who is actually utilizing our service? Tristan Ahumada, he runs Lab Coat Agents. Ben Kinney is one of the largest brokers in the country. Lisa Archer, we're going to go through her strategy that she uses to predictably generate listings every single month using our virtual assistants. Toral, I love Toral. Toral Sells Homes is like the name of her company, and so she's just been a great friend and a client for the last 4 or 5 years, and we've got some great examples. Jonathan Leahy, he's what I love about, we just had a conversation with him. He's got 4 of our virtual assistants. He's adding his 5th, and he's preparing to add his 6th by the end of the year. And just a small conversation with us here at MyOutDesk, and we're shifting all of his client, basically his client follow-up after the close using a virtual assistant. So we've got a lot of great strategies on this webinar. Stick with us, listen to it, put your phones away, don't do the ADD thing where you're checking email or doing that other stuff, but just really stay with us because it's going to be valuable. We're going to share 5 strategies today. We're also going to give you in-depth look at 1 or 2 of those strategies and also talk about a couple stories about good ways to use a virtual assistant. So here's the thing. After doing this for 14 years, what I realized and what our clients have helped me realize is that you can build a business that you can generate good listing leads and clients consistently and all you have to do is have the right systems and processes. There are 5 strategies that we're going to share today where agents are using our virtual assistants that you can actually model to get rid of all the headaches, the uncertainty, and the guesswork. And any agent can do this. Here's what you're getting rid of. You're getting rid of the roller coaster in the real estate world, going through the endless feast and famine cycle, losing thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours on the hire and fire cycle. This is a big deal, guys. Losing leverage on your team is the biggest obstacle to scaling and growing your income. So we're going to talk about that, how to stop that today. Investing lots of money into technology, leads, people, and marketing only to see marginal results at best. Here's the deal. You can't buy your way to success in real estate. There's actually a way to earn your way to success, and we're going to talk about that. Here's the other thing. The hard way includes working on your own life, and you're losing time with your family and friends and loved ones, not making memories, not having regular fun, and this concept of having a balanced life sounds like sci-fi. And so today, if you stay with us all the way to the end, we're going to cover a proven listing generation technique, 5 of them actually. And when you decide to do business with MyOutDesk and FirePoint, we'll give you these 5 strategies. They've got videos and checklists, and we're going to generate massive results together. Basically, it's called Business in a Box. FirePoint has an amazing giveaway. They're going to set you up if you decide to move forward with them, and it's really awesome. So please pay attention all the way to the end. Don't have ADD. Sit down, take notes. Don't check your phone. Don't look at Facebook. Just give us your attention. I promise it's going to be worth it. So Chris, you're going to love this first slide because it has to do with CRMs. And there's this concept of all roads leads back to FirePoint or a CRM and listing leads. There's a really important thing here. Story. There's a prominent attorney in our town, and after 30 years of being with his practice, he just recently, and I heard this from my attorney, he just recently decided to retire, and his partners cut him a check to buy him out for $10,000. After 30 years being a prominent attorney in the Sacramento area, he got a check for 10 grand. Now, he made good money throughout his career, and there's no doubt about that, but his piece of the business was just worth $10,000 at his exit. Now that's a tough thing. And one of the things that we are challenged with in the real estate world is, this business, if it's not done right, then you have nothing to sell at the end. And the foundational piece, and I'd love to hear your perspective, Chris, but the foundational piece to building value in a real estate, company is your CRM. Would you agree with that, Chris?
Yeah, I totally would. It's the idea of leverage and a repeatable business that if you can't step away from your business for, 3, 6 months, 12 months, and the entire thing runs, the systems, the tasks, the processes, the auditing, all those things, it's sellable, but the value is a lot less because part of that value is in you, not in the system and the repeatable business that you've done that keeps these referrals, the process, all these things happening. So you can even withdraw yourself and everything still happens. And so, yeah, the more you can withdraw yourself, the more the value goes up because you're taking less of the value with you when you exit and it's being traded for cash.
Yeah, well, it's a big deal. And the primary driver in a real estate company is how many provable transactions you get through referrals and repeat clients. And so what we're going to talk about today is a couple like pretty killer strategies for driving that. But I wanted to start with the number one thing. We're on a call with FirePoint. Obviously, I'm a big believer in creating the systems and processes. And one simple system is a 555 system. Our client, Lisa Archer, we'll talk more about her. She's got a bunch of really cool marketing things. She was a marketing gal for a lot of years and became a real estate person, a mom, and she's building a really pretty powerful business, 6 different offices across the U.S. And what she does is she likes 5, she comments on 5, and she has 5 interactions, whether they're phone calls or face-to-face, with everybody in her database who gives her referrals. So she's segmented her database in these 5 different areas. Client for life is her version of a client loyalty thing. She preps her clients to say, no, when you work with me, you're a client for life. And so she works with those folks within her clients for life who are giving her referrals and does all these touch systems throughout the year. And she has it further segmented by other agents who give her referrals and close friends and family and Sphere, anybody that she knows physically, right? And so those are the way that she segments her database to drive massive results. But the one thing is, it's the 555 system that's pretty cool. She has this boom process for marketing. So it's bring online, offline marketing. And basically, that's a fancy word for like, look, you got to get belly to belly. Our world is belly to belly. She takes all of her referrals, all of her past clients, and she does, invites them to coffee. She shares with them her annual goals, finds out what they're up to, invites them to be part of her business and goals, and also becomes part of their goals and their business outlook. Michael Mayer is the author of 7 Levels of Communication. He has this great book talking about how to drive referrals, and if there's one nugget from it, and he'd probably love that I say this, one nugget is the referral drives 70% of the business inside real estate. And yet it's a very relatively small amount of money is being spent on the referral actions. And so he would refocus us all on how do you provide value for the folks inside your CRM on a regular basis. And he does things like, personal notes and birthday gifts and ask them questions about their goals, all with the intention of providing value to them and then asking them question, well, who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling in the next 3 months? And that's a big deal. Also, there's another concept in Facebook that I really love. This guy, he's a pilot in North Carolina, and we were chatting, and these are all strategies that you can use a virtual assistant with. So not that you have to be the one that gives those people a call and invites them to coffee. Your assistant can actually do that for you. You can say, hey, we're trying to get together with all of our past clients, the folks that are referring. You can have your virtual assistant do this part, just like in the Facebook. Your virtual assistant can edit videos and create great graphics and lots of cool things to post and boost. This particular guy that I'm talking about from North Carolina, he was a pilot, and so he has a really awesome drone, and he creates videos within his neighborhood niche of properties that are for sale, all the stats, and he creates these awesome videos that he puts on Facebook and boosts to his audience and all of his friends. And this guy dominates 70% of the market. We broke down all the houses in his neighborhood and all the transactions he's done over the last 2 years, and he has done 70% of the transactions in that particular neighborhood, all through this one strategy of creating really cool videos on Facebook. So it's really a cool concept, and most of that can be edited and put together with a virtual assistant. Another really good strategy on the marketing side that a virtual assistant can help with is, your database has got all these different segments, and they're actually interested in information, meaning, let's say they live in a particular neighborhood. Well, guess what? One of the best emails you can send out to that particular person in that particular neighborhood is the market stats. It's what's going on in that particular neighborhood. And so that's a big deal that your virtual assistant can actually help and compile and put together. Next, we're going to talk about Toral. I promise you I would. This is probably my favorite referral strategy, and it works across the nation, and you'll see why. One thing that Toral said was, she was tired of being on that roller coaster up and down in the real estate world, and she realized if you don't have an assistant, you are one. That's a typical kind of word that we like to say. But she realized that, and she started building a team to include virtual assistants. What's unique about her team is that all of the admin, all of the marketing, and even some of the prospecting is done by our virtual assistant. She has a team of 4, and here's what Toral says. Anything that can be done virtually should be done virtually. So this is the intro to Toral. Now, her virtual assistant, Steven, I've had a chance to actually be in the Philippines and meet her a couple times, or meet him a couple times. And he's a really sharp guy. He's the leader of her team, and he manages all of the operations within the team, putting together spreadsheets and getting event coordination done. He's like a mini little project manager running all of these huge client events that generate massive referrals. And that's what this slide is all about. I really love this. I love a latte. So she had a company come in, make lattes, told her entire database, called them on the phone using our virtual assistants, and then gave them a latte for swinging by the office. And look, that one event at the very top, they had 89 people come and get a latte or a coffee drink. They had 29 referrals that came into the office, and then Toral herself got 10 referrals from that one event. So they track not only their events, but the number of guests that come, the amount of referrals they get as a team, and also as the leader of that team. And you can see this is 18 months worth of, so I saw Toral last weekend at a conference, and this is 18 months of events and information for her team. And you can see she's had 643 people come to events focused around helping her company grow and having fun. You can see a pie day, for Thanksgiving. You can see a barbecue, costume party. I mean, these are really cool events. And what's awesome about Toral is her virtual assistant organizes all of the project management piece, from renting the space and the equipment to get the stuff, to calling all the leads in the database and saying, hey, we'd really love to have you come, and from organizing who came and what happened. And so the folks that are selling, and here's the big point here, the folks that are selling can actually sell. I'm going to have Chris jump in real quick, but this is another example. She has 11 salespeople, and she constantly tracks the production of those folks on her team. And so everyone on the team, we know how many referrals they've gotten, they know how many closed units they've gotten, where they've generated the revenue, what they're doing with that revenue, and it's all facilitated by virtual assistants. Chris, I'd love your thoughts on this. I know you're a data guy, so what are your thoughts around the event stuff?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's an interesting thing just from the standpoint of being in real estate, and how many times that leads are easy. Leads you can buy and you get a % conversion. You know what your return on investment is, especially if you're tracking like inside FirePoint, you know the ROIs and your cash conversion cycle, how fast they're converting. And a lot of people use that as their one funnel. When I was in the business, that was the majority of the funnel, was purchasing leads, converting leads, got very good at that, was very profitable with it, continued, grew the team like crazy. But that was that one missing piece. And I was was talking with Gabe Cordova, who's the president of FirePoint. I think it was 56% of his business was leads that were more than 2 years old that they hadn't done any business with. So it was a totally different mentality. Instead of just buying new leads, converting, it was getting more engaged and staying in touch with people long-term and events, and treating them more as people and not just as a number can double, triple the amount of business that you do. And that's huge. When you already spent the money to get those leads, you have those people in your database. And so when you're looking at a lead generation budget, are you giving enough respect to the people that are already in your database and marketing those and doing things with those and facilitating all of that? And I love how you said, like, some of those things people get scared because they're going to have 2 people on staff at $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 a month, whatever it is where they're living. They can be a very expensive prospect to do, but there's other ways to get that done, like using virtual assistants. And I mean, they're still on your team. They're doing the exact same thing, whether they're doing it from the house down the street or the office across the street or from another country. It doesn't really matter anymore as long as they're getting all the tasks done and everything's tracked.
Well, I love what you're saying too. I want to drive this point home. 70% of all real estate transactions happen because of referrals.
Yeah.
And if you think about our budgets as real estate people, if you took your budget for, like 2018 for next year, and you look at, well, what did I spend to generate leads in 2017? And then if you actually created a budget for events, and you created a budget to drive referrals, and if you created a budget to love on people, I mean, that is creating a predictable real estate business that over time people can scale with you. Because the one thing that she's Toro is really excited about is 2017, because of her virtual assistants, because of the way she's processed and put together her team, she has not gone on one listing appointment this year. And it's the first time. And so, Chris, what's your thought about how valuable that company is?
Yeah, totally different. When you say, like, if anybody's looking at the value of it, whether it's for a team purchasing you or even doing a buyout through your team, if things rely on you, it's so much less valuable. I mean, and you look at the multiples, obviously you look at like Steve Murray or somebody from RealTrends looking at the valuations. I mean, you can sell for what, 2, 3, 4 times more if you're out of the process entirely versus the business is based on you. If you're the one that actually goes on the listing appointments and sells and goes to all the closings. Now, we all do that. I mean, we're in the business. That's what you do to retain the relationships. But yeah, if you want to grow and scale, you have to work it and have a repeatable system where you're not the bottleneck that everything has to go through. Absolutely.
Well, and if you talk to Steve, and we're doing this series, it's called the 7-Figure Agent Roadmap. We're doing this series with FirePoint, and I really appreciate, we're going to be dropping this over a 6-part series. And really the whole point of that is to get to Steve at Realty Track? It's Realty Track. Yeah. You get to Steve, and if you talk to this guy, the number one differentiator is, do you have a CRM? How much of your CRM is provable repeat and referral business? And the separator there is most of the folks who are selling for several $1 million, meaning they're getting a check at the close for $1 million or more. Those people have exactly dialed in processes and systems for generating referral and repeat business through their sphere of influence, through their past clients. They have an event program. They have a client for lifetime program, just like Lisa Archer. They have all of these things dialed in so other people can do them. And that's the one differentiator in the 7-Figure Agent map is you got to focus where the money is, and the money is in referrals. So we're going to keep going. We're going to talk about how to generate like high quality listing leads without all the headaches. And we've got some really cool proven strategies here we're going to discuss today. So, a lot of people are like, well, how many leads do you generate? Our question is, what's the quality of the lead? See, the best leads are strong intent, high probability. Strong intent, high probability. These leads, here's an example. You can build leads for less than $1,000 a month. This is Chris Suarez. Now, he did this open house process. And the reason he did, and this is a crazy thing, you're in real estate, Chris. I'm in real estate. This guy's moved twice in his career. So not just once. He didn't like build a business and then move once. He built a business, moved, built a business, and then moved. And each time he did with this one strategy, he's created 225 deals in 2016. So that's a big deal. And he's broken down the process into the 6 Ps, and it's a 7-day promotional process that we're going to go over right now. Day 1, selects an open house. Day 2, posts that open house online, obtains a list of calling, mails invites to all the 100, maybe 200 homes around that open house. He posts that open house again online. He begins to call the neighborhood, and a sign goes up in the yard. Okay, so that's day 3. Day 4, he posts online again, calls the neighborhood, invites his database that are a match for that particular house. So he'll call through his database and say, hey, we've got a 4-bedroom, 2-bath that's in this neighborhood. I know you've been looking in that general area. We'd love to have you come through. And that's a big deal. And he calls all of the people who have called on all of his sign calls, because he'll have multiple signs out in a particular neighborhood, and through the time frame gotten people who have called. So he'll call those guys again. And any internet leads that he has in his database, he invites. So he's basically inviting everybody and anybody who might have an interest, as well as, then we go to day 5, posting it again online. This time, he's boosting it on social media. He prepares the open house folders, like the market stats, comps, puts together a digital flyer and a physical flyer, and then he posts it again on day 6, boosts it again, and then door knocks. This is a big deal. He goes in the neighborhood and says, hey, who do you know that might want to be your neighbor? And day 7, if you didn't do door knocking, you do it again, and then you put up a minimum of 7 signs, and then you're ready for your open house. Okay.
It's intense.
Yeah, it is intense, right? And you know, the craziness is it works. And the reason we know it works is because Lisa modeled the exact same thing that Chris did in her market and across the 6 different markets that she's in. And now this is her #1 strategy for breaking into a brand new market.
Awesome.
So here's what she started doing in 2016, July, so about a year ago now. She started doing this, and by the end of that year, she attributed 25% of her business to this one strategy. She did 165 deals, so last year, 41% or 41 deals of this really simple, really easy open house strategy came from just this one thing, and I think it's a big deal. Now, what's different about Lisa is that she has 3 virtual assistants, and she uses them for the entire process, short of like door knocking, like knocking on the doors, and sitting the open house. She has this concept of, do you want to pick your neighbor? So that's the question that she likes to ask, and she's gotten a lot of traction from this. Here's what she does. She uses our virtual assistant to prospect prior to the open house in that entire neighborhood, when the open house goes under contract, and then after it closes. She's always asking, like, you know, hey, we got 7 offers, and unfortunately we could only pick one. That means I have 6 people who are dying to get into your neighborhood. Who do you know? Who do you know that might have an interest in selling a house? It's a hot market. It's crazy. So she's really diving in to making as many calls. This is that strategy of bringing online marketing offline, right? So she's really doing the door knocking and the cold calling, and they're both using a hybrid team to run this strategy right now. What's crazy about Lisa is she used to do the traditional farming. You know, you send out a bunch of mailers and you know, do the door knocking thing. But now when she opens a new office, this is what she's doing to break into that particular office.
And she's using it with somebody else's listings. So another listing in the office, not even her own, to go break into it.
That's right. And that's the coolest thing is that you know, if you're worried about, you know, oh, I don't have any listings, this is the best way to go and get a listing is you just ask somebody else in the office, hey, I'd love to. In fact, she has this great story about she was going to do a open house for this guy in her office, and he hadn't gotten the house sold. And she said, well, could I do it? And here's my process, and here's what it looks like. The agent, who was a listing agent, was like impressed with her process, and really, he was just like, gosh, I need to learn how she's going to do it. And so after that 7-day process, door knocking, Lisa got 3 additional listings in that neighborhood and sold that agent's house. I mean, that agent that had that listing, he's in love with Lisa, right? I mean, he's like, you helped me get my commission. So it's a great strategy. It's a win-win for everybody. And it's just one of our 5 proven strategies that if you choose to move forward and give us a call and do a consultation, and really we'll walk you through the process of creating a 7-figure agent map. And we'll also talk to you about like what outcomes you want and what a real estate virtual assistant looks like and all of that. But this is just one of those strategies. So another secret is, and this is really what we're trying to say for this call, Chris, is that you can build a predictable business without hijacking your entire life. And the way you do that is what Tony Robbins says. If you want to achieve success, all you need to do is find a way to model those who've already succeeded. So too much of the real estate industry is like, well, I'm going to do it my way, or I'm going to create my own process, or I don't know, I don't want to be like that, or whatever your excuse is. But the reality is, just go find a Lisa, take her strategies, implement it and model it in your own company, and then watch the real estate success happen. What are you thinking, Chris?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I was going to say, completely agree there. It's all about, I mean, what is it, Rob Steele, like take everybody else's ideas, implement them well. Because if you try and reinvent the wheel, you're basically trying to give up years of your life to perfect something when somebody else is already successful with it. So yeah, find what they're doing, do it, and then just keep improving. Absolutely. Yeah,
and so today's topic is 10 new listing leads, like how to do that. So we're going to break this down real quick into like the top ideas. You know, it's really important that you build a CRM. I like having the IDX feed. You want a lead capture system. I put Tahoe in here because I swear I have a cabin up in Tahoe, and one of the only marketing emails that I consistently open is when one of my neighbors in Tahoe wants to sell, because I'm always curious, like, oh, what's my house worth now, you know? And so I think it's a really powerful and positive way to give people information about what's going on in your world. And I also think having a clear listing site, a website that is focused on listings, so you can send people who are referrals, you can send people that has like, this is what I do that is awesome compared to all the other agents in the world. So these are 2 really important things in my opinion. Also, do the open house sign, like have a physical sign dropped in that house, in that yard. Do the open house, door knock, circle prospect, all that, but also do it virtually. One of the free offers in Business in the Box is listings to leads. They'll take all of your listing information, syndicate it out into the web like crazy. They also have a great Facebook tool. They also have a great open house tool. These folks have great virtual like signs. You can do a single property website, and it's a great way to like basically say, I am for sale out into the world. So that's another good strategy. Circle dial, door knock. Really important that you have good, clear data when you're going to circle dial. You want cell phones. You want everybody in the neighborhood, only the people that are living there, you know, not people that are like, you don't want a house where an investor owns it and the phone number is like in another town or city. You want the people who are actually living there. So one of the free giveaways today, too, if you decide to go to our website and request a consultation and then hire and get a virtual assistant, is Agent Circle Prospecting. What they are is a 3-line dialer and also all the data you need in order to find the names and numbers and do that scrub list. So our virtual assistant will come with the first 90 days, not only of listings to lead, also Agent Circle Prospecting, both the data and the dialer. So that's a cool offer. You know, to summarize the 10 ways, create a actual referral program, a real program that where you spend money to your sphere and get massive referrals and results. That's a really big deal. I want to share a story here. The next bullet point is stop doing admin tasks. Just don't do it. If you're doing $10 an hour work, you're saying you're worth $10 an hour. And there's a mentality in our industry of, well, I got to do it because I got to make it perfect. And that is just not the case. In fact, that'll take you further away from growing a company than anything else. Bob Corcoran is a coaching friend of mine. He coaches a lot of the top producers across the country. We just met with Bubba Mills a couple weeks ago and did a millionaire real estate, like what's the differentiator, and both of these guys measure exactly what the dollar productive activities are worth for a real estate broker. And the average person who is prospecting is making $2,000 an hour. So you can imagine, just if you removed everything that's admin, everything that is marketing, everything that isn't revenue generating or dollar, I like to call it DPA, dollar productive activities. Just remove them from your tasks, give them to a virtual assistant, give them to your physical assistant, and just focus on driving revenue. This is the biggest game changer you can have. I promise you, you'll get an extra 1 or 2 listings just for making that one mental shift. Another great strategy, I got a chance to talk to Jonathan yesterday. We're talking about his team and how it's going and what he's doing. He right now has 4. He's adding number 5 this month and looking to add number 6 in Q4. So he's very processed in the type of growth that he's doing. He's doing 200 transactions, and he had an aha moment when we were talking about his virtual assistant. He has this one particular virtual assistant who's not really great at the details, but he's like, but she's amazing with people. Everybody loves her. Every time she gets on the phone, everybody's smiling and happy. And so I asked him, Jonathan, what's your process after the close? What do you do to provide value to your folks once you've collected the commission? And Chris, you're going to love this, but one of our biggest challenges in the real estate business, the day that we get paid for all the work we did, we also get fired. We have to go out and hunt for more. And so as a real estate agent, we're chasing that commission. And you got the commission breath. But I asked Jonathan, what are you doing for your seller clients and your buyer clients after the close? And there was an aha moment. And he's actually in the process right now of creating a drip campaign where his virtual assistants give a call to the sellers, see if they need anything, like from his moving truck to all the utility providers, see if they need any bids on constructions, because they have a pretty robust referral program within their company, and he doesn't have that right now. So he's building that out for his virtual assistant to run so that he can keep in contact with all of his past sellers and all of his past buyers and love on them and put them in a client for life kind of process. Is that exciting, Chris, or what?
I think that's like a really good point for everybody to take away is when you look at your spend, a lot of people look at lead generation as a spend of buying leads from a provider. But the reality is lead generation is generating the next lead or the next transaction, even if it's from one of your current prospects in your database. And so when you're looking at where your lead generation spends go, you need to make sure that your current clients are a huge part of that. Like that 70% figure, are you spending 70% of your lead generation budget, the actual dollars, on doing that? And if you have that program and a virtual assistant facilitating it and the calls happening, those are all parts of your lead gen budget. It doesn't just have to be new prospects you've never talked to. You already have those relationships. Those are going to be hotter and easier to call than brand new people right off the street.
Yeah. Well, and what's good too, we've got a couple clients who use our virtual assistants to gather feedback on the transaction. One of the biggest gifts of building a large business is getting feedback from your clients and letting them tell you what's working, what's not working, or what's missing. And so another piece of what Jonathan's going to implement is like, hey, from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being we were amazing and 1 being it wasn't great, how would you rate our company? Okay, and why did you rate it that? And what can we do to do a better job next time? How would you design it to add the most value to you through this home buying process? With that kind of data, like you can orchestrate your entire company to provide exactly the value that your clients are saying they want. And right now, most real estate people aren't gathering that data. We're closing on a transaction and we're getting hired and fired on the same day that we're getting our commission. So it's another really great opportunity. I have one last concept for the 10 new listing leads using a virtual assistant. We have a client in Beverly Hills, and Beverly Hills is a really challenging market. I'm telling you, it's a really, $20 million listings, a ton of agents fighting because if they sell 1 or 2 of those houses, they've made their entire year. And our client has built 2 offices, one in Minnesota, and he did a lot of volume there, and that business is still going. And this office in Beverly Hills, he's struggling. So he and I were talking, and he's using his virtual assistant to create channel business partners. So I'll give you an example. He's got a hospital. The #1 employer in the area was a hospital. You know how many people they have move in and out of Beverly Hills? Every quarter they have 5 transactions that happen because they're hospital employees. You can imagine. So this one hospital, this one HR person inside that hospital controls 5 transactions in Beverly Hills that range over, multi-millions. I think the average price is like $7 million or something like that. So, he and I were chatting about this, and I'm like, Eric, man, you got to get that. And he goes, yeah, I got her. I met with her last month. And you know what? I got her, and I got 24 other referral partners. Channel business partners, people who have access not only to the people that are moving in and out of the area, but they control them, meaning they have some influence over that decision maker. You meet with CPAs, you meet with attorneys, probate attorneys, you talk to the person who's like a business consultant and is connected with everybody. You talk to the person who does all the IT and has an IT thing. The reality is, and here's another little nugget in this world, is you want to find salespeople, because salespeople like Chris and I, we like to talk and we like to interact and we like to be a part of. So you don't want to meet somebody who doesn't have a huge network. So those are some of the things. They've got to control a lot of business, and they have to have a huge network. You meet them and you love on them, and you use your virtual assistant to narrow down those lists, find out who those people are, put them into your database, scrape all the information you can from LinkedIn, scrape all the information from Facebook, find out what they're into, find out what they're doing. And what Eric did, which was great, is he sent a personal gift to this lady in the hospital. And it took him a year before she would take his call, and she finally answered because he found a great gift that was exactly something that she'd like, and she took his call to thank him for that one gift. And so a virtual assistant can help in all kinds of areas. These are just a couple few of those areas that are, I think, really powerful. Chris, you got anything to add before we move to the next slide?
Yeah, I think, and you might be covering this in a little bit here, but kind of one of the things that we go through with all of our clients is all of these processes that you have. That process of just that one piece of going to LinkedIn, going to Facebook, finding out who these people are, getting the information about them. That is all a process. That's all something you build, you put it in a drip campaign with your tasks, and even those phone calls, when you look at a system, that's all in a system. So when you put that lead in, or those leads get dumped in, that starts for everybody, and you can track what's happening, what's not happening, and even from like the ISA, using a virtual assistant to make those outbound phone calls, is you're jumping in the system, and you're listening to those, you're coaching them through it. I mean, this is somebody on your staff helping you do all these things, and making sure that your system allows you to do all those things in one place. So your virtual assistant, your agents, everybody's working out of the same system, and they're all playing off of each other. So the system pulls it all together. But these are people, again, I've just heard so many times that, hey, hire a virtual assistant, they're off somewhere else, it'll just work. They're a part of your team. You're going to train them like your team. You're going to work them like your team. You're going to answer questions and coach them. I mean, it's your rear end and your worth on the line at the end of the day. They're part of your team, and use a system to pull it all together.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. And what I love about FirePoint that's unique to your particular CRM industry is that your dialer is built in, and you can customize any of your action plans to have tasks that are specific to the kind of lead you're going after. So no matter, and again, we go back to what's the most valuable thing, referrals, and what's the most valuable thing when you go to sell, having a CRM. When you have all those systems and you have a task, and you can make shifts to it, and everybody can have visibility to it, and you can see how many things are done on one particular lead. Like, that's what creates a 7-figure agent business. And so I really appreciate FirePoint for having all those things, because it's something like, just the simple fact of knowing how many tasks are overdue versus how many tasks are completed, whether somebody logged in and actually checked their tasks and did any of their tasks. I mean, those kind of things give massive visibility to a leader in a company that can really be positive to help them manage their business and actually grow revenue. And I think as a real estate broker, and I had a huge team. We had a big team, and we were doing lots of transactions. One of the challenges, we pulled together spreadsheets because FirePoint wasn't around at that time. And so I think it's a great measurement tool. I think it's a great productivity tool. And I love that you can You can do tasks and have different action plans to complete all of these ideas that we talked about today. And I know if you're listening, you're like, oh, this might feel a little bit like drinking from a fire hose, but I promised in the beginning that we would have something called Business in a Box, and we're going to detail everything that you're going to get, and it's really awesome. Chris alluded to it a little bit. These virtual assistants are going to be exclusive to you. We're going to vet them, okay? And by vetting, meaning they know what it's like to work in real estate. They get it. They understand what it's like to work with a U.S. person. They want to do that, and they have the capacity, meaning they have high internet speed, they have a great laptop or computer, they have a headset so you can have video conferences just like this. We do an FBI-grade background check on them. We vet them under this concept of the 3 E's. So if you're looking for an awesome operational person, so project management to help you put together all these events, we have somebody who's experienced at doing project management. If you're looking for a person in the marketing world who can create online collateral and design stuff, we're going to find somebody who does that and has expertise, meaning they've been trained and they have this third-party certification or an education or a college thing, and they're currently employed doing it. So this is the 3 E's. This is part of our capacity piece. And what we do for you is we handle all the payroll, all of the benefits, all of the medical. Our folks are really retained because of all of the benefits that we provide, because we work with you guys, really awesome real estate people. And all you have to do is pay one flat fee every single month. If you decide to move forward with us, we're going to provide you, 5 strategies. We talked about some of them today, but open house, boom, neighborhood niche, the ultimate Facebook post, all of that is going to cost you $17.47 a month. We're also going to throw in a bunch of free stuff. So we have a 90-day launch. So we know that it takes about 90 days for somebody to go from zero to hero. We've got a dedicated launch coach to help you through that process. We're going to gather your outcomes, the things that you actually want to accomplish, and we're going to make sure that the onboarding is fast and it's done right, and that by the end of it, they're basically getting the outcome that you need in your business. Now, that 90-day launch is a $9.97 value. We have it, and we're giving it to you for free for being a client. The other thing, I want to say who this works for. If you're a newer agent, this probably isn't you. And in the newer agent world, you need to start your first hire as a CRM. You gotta get your CRM, you gotta build your sphere, and you gotta learn how to do the business. And that's your number one focus. But once you get up to about 20 or 30 listings a year, maybe you have 1 or 2 people on your team, you're doing a $200,000 in GCI, that's when you can be a MyOutDesk client. That's when you're ready for leverage. And we know this because we've helped 4,000 real estate teams grow over the last 9 years. So we're really clear about who this product works for and what they have to do. So right now, if you want to get started, you can go to our website, myoutdesk.com/firepoint, and we're offering a bunch of free gifts. It's a $297 deposit. That's your skin in the game to get going. That'll get you the 5 strategies. That'll get us your 90-day launch guide that is super valuable because it's going to have job descriptions. It's going to have what you should focus on. It's going to have from every stage of the 7-figure agent map, from the beginning all the way to the end where you're netting $1 million, putting that money in the bank. We're going to give that to you and show you the process as you go down that kind of trajectory as a real estate professional. But if this isn't all, I want you to know we have more tools for your virtual assistant. As we said, we've got a 3-line dialer that we're giving out. I know FirePoint has one built in, but if you don't have FirePoint, you can give us a call. Or if you have FirePoint and you want a 3-line dialer for your virtual assistant, we're giving away a 90-day trial. Normally, it's $109 a month, but we're getting 90 days for free. We also have some other cool things. We're giving away Agent Circle prospecting. So if you're doing an open house, you can circle that entire neighborhood and pull all the cell phones, all the home phone numbers, and you can throw them into the dialer and nail them out. You're getting that for 90 days free. It's 117 value. Now, you got two choices. The first option is do nothing. Like, do nothing. Don't call us. Don't go online. Don't ask for a consultation. Or the second option is to make this small investment today. You're going to risk that small investment and 30 or 45 minutes of your time. You're going to talk to one of our consultants. We're going to do a map that's specific to you, and we're going to get you going on this process. We're also going to give you all the tools inside Business in the Box for free for 90 days, plus we're going to give you the 5 strategies. Now, one thing that is different about working with us is, there is a plan. We know what we're doing. There's lots of options, so you're not stuck. One of these processes doesn't work, you choose a different one. And we have proof that this stuff works. Our agents are currently doing these things out in the world. So there's no question about whether it works or doesn't work. You're just simply modeling what already works. And the real question is, you're going to do this now or later? I mean, it's just a simple thing. You're going to build a team today or you're going to build a team in the future. The question is the when. And if you give us a call, we're going to give you a free consultation. We're going to walk you through whether you're ready or whether you're not, what you need to focus on. We're basically going to be a business consultant with hiring a virtual assistant and the system. So I'm really excited about that. FirePoint, here's a great thing. FirePoint put together this, they're going to waive the setup fee, $300. We're really excited about that. Chris is going to talk to that in a couple minutes. We've also got listings to leads. We're basically giving you 90-day free of that. So that's $330. And on top of that, LandVoice is giving away $441 of their free dial. So you're going to get FSBOs, expireds, neighborhoods, and all of that can flow right into FirePoint, and you can work right from there, CRM. So that's a good thing. Chris, what else would you like to add?
Yeah, probably the biggest thing that I hope everybody, especially our FirePoint users, could take away from this are really just seeing, again, different ways that you can use virtual assistants that a lot of times you hear them just following up on leads or telemarketing, and that's part of it, but it's anybody on your staff that's not interacting face-to-face with the client can be leveraged as a virtual assistant. It's just like the person, I mean, if somebody works from home when they're sick, it's the exact same process. You're managing them, you're talking to them, they're working in your system, you're seeing what they're doing. But Daniel, I love what you said, that your first hire is your CRM, it is your system, it's your repeatable process. And then after that, you start leveraging with staff and agents, everything else. But having that system to pull everything together. But I really hope everybody sees different ways of using virtual assistants. And then, of course, if you're not familiar with who FirePoint is, you can go through firepoint.net. If you use the promo code MOD for MyOutDesk, that gets you the setup fee waived. If you sign up through the Business in a Box, you get the setup fee waived. So yeah, definitely thanks for your time. Thanks for all the ideas and helping people see just real case studies of people, not just talking about, hey, if you did this, you would get results. These are real agents that have actual results. They're using virtual assistants to leverage their business, that have a system to hold it all together. And I mean, it's a tough business, but you put the process, the people in place, and you make it repeatable.
Yep. Chris, it was my pleasure to be here. Thanks to everybody that was on this webinar, and we look forward. Come jump on myoutdesk.com/FirePoint. We look forward to helping you grow your business.
Awesome. Thank you.